All right, we lost Jason Riley. How come? He just didn't make, that's too bad. All right, so let us talk then about Harvey Weinstein. Because the response to this Harvey Weinstein thing has been it's unbelievable what is happening. I mean, first of all, from the left, Obama and Hillary, silence, nothing. Okay, and of course the late night. I mean, it's ripe for the late night comics. That this powerful producer of some of the most famous movies ever made has been caught chasing women around. So you know that late night comics are going to go right after him. I mean, Jimmy Kimmel, right? He's the conscience of our nation. Jimmy Kimmel is the conscience. That's why he's on Mount Rushmore, because Jimmy Kimmel is the conscience of our nation. So here he is talking about a Twitter fight he got in with Donald Trump Jr.
He replied to me after I replied to his father. He wrote, "Thoughts on Harvey Weinstein, hashtag asking for a friend." He's speaking, I don't know if you know about this, but there was an expose in the New York Times about decades of sexual harassment accusations made against the movie producer Harvey Weinstein, who is not the president and isn't particularly well known outside of LA and New York. But the insinuation was that we, as part of the biased left-wing media propaganda machine, wouldn't say anything about him because he's a Democrat. Never mind the thousands of jokes about Bill Cosby and Bill Clinton and all the other bills of that ilk. So I wrote back, "You mean that big story from the failing liberal one-sided New York Times? I think it is disgusting." And he replied, "Great, I look forward to your monologues next week. You're probably due for a change, if only for a moment or two." And I responded, "Great, in the meantime, enjoy this." And I posted a link to the video of Daddy on the Access Hollywood bus.
So he used the Weinstein thing to go after Donald Trump. The courage of this man, the courage, and also the high comedy. I mean, I could not stop laughing. I could at least Jimmy Fallon made an actual joke. Here's Fallon.
Another big story: Harvey Weinstein was fired by his company yesterday for being accused of sexual harassment. Not good. They said if he keeps it up, he'll wind up with his own show on Fox News.
It's like they've only got one target. They've only got one setting. The one setting is this target, is the right-wing target. Like I said, jet fuel for Donald Trump. But let's talk a little bit more about this, because more stuff is coming out about Harvey Weinstein, more stuff about what he did, and it's pretty. What's the word I'm looking for? Disgusting? Is that? I kind of think that's it.
Yeah.
Disgusting. I think is I'm going to have to go with that. So I'm going to play a little bit of this, and it's disturbing, but it's worth listening to. First of all, here is the police. You know that show. Law and Order SVU, right? I always think it should be SUV, that they steal luxury vans. Yeah, but SVU, Special Victims Unit. The police Special Victims Unit was getting enough complaints about Harvey Weinstein chasing women, grabbing women, even apparently attempted rape, that they started to wire some of these women. Now, I don't know specifically. This is a model who went in, and Weinstein tried to get her to watch him take a shower.
Backwards.
What? Yeah, it's backwards, that he should be wanting to watch her take a shower. I mean, that is the thing that gets me about this. What is it with these powerful guys that they don't just trade for sex, right? If you're going to be a jackass, just get some sex, right? If you're going to be a monster, say, I'll give you that isn't that what they used to do in the old Hollywood? The old Hollywood is, you want a part, you have to sleep with me. That was the casting couch. But this is, if you want a part, you have to watch me take a shower? I mean, yuck. Anyway, listen to this tape. It is amazing.
I'm telling you right now.
What do we have to do here?
Nothing. I'm going to take a shower. You sit there and have a drink. Water.
I don't drink.
Have
Can
a
I
glass of
stay
water.
on the bar?
No, you must come here now.
No.
Please.
No, I don't want to.
I'm not doing anything with you.
I
now
know.
you're embarrassing me.
I'm sorry. I
No,
cannot.
come in
No,
here.
yesterday was a kind of aggressive for
I
me.
know. You go to the bathroom.
Please, I don't want to do something I don't want
Go
to.
to the bathroom. Hey, come here. Listen to me.
I want to go downstairs.
I'm not going to do anything. You'll never see me again after this. Please come in. On everything. I'm a famous guy.
I'm feeling very uncomfortable right now.
Please come in now. And 1 minute. And if you want to leave, when the guy comes with my
Why
jacket, you can go.
yesterday you touched my breast?
Oh, please, I'm sorry. Just come on. I'm used to that.
But
Come on.
are you used to that?
Yes, come in.
No, but I'm not used to
I
that.
won't do it again. Come on. Sit here. I'll never do another thing to you. 5 minutes. Don't ruin your friendship with me for 5 minutes.
I know, but it's kind of like, it's too much for me. I can't.
Oof, oof. That is really something else. That is really something else. I'm famous. I'm famous, you know. It's like, I want to emphasize here for just a minute, though, so you understand some of this stuff, because I know a lot of these women, like Jessica Chastain was attacked. The actress said, I didn't come out and say anything because it never happened to me, so it wasn't my story to tell. And people were making fun of her. But I think that's actually legit. You know, you don't come out and tell other people's story. But the thing I want to emphasize is that Weinstein is a big guy, a big guy. He has beaten up reporters while reporters were watching, and nobody said anything about him. So he's not just big and famous, like big and powerful, but he's physically big, you know. And sometimes, I mean, this is true of me. It's true of all guys, I think. But we sometimes don't understand the strength differential. I mean, that's one of the reasons I always attack Hollywood movies where you see the girl punches some guy and the guy goes rolling backside over tea kettle out the door. And, you know, that I always say, you know, what happens when a girl punches a man is that her fist breaks and then he beats her up. I mean, a lot of the women who end up in the hospital, you know, were actually in a physical fight with men, and it's not a good situation. And people always, you know, the left always has this crazy thing of answering generalities with some specific exception. So they'll say, well, you know, if a mixed martial arts fighter, you know, came and Ronda Rousey came and punched you, you'd feel, of course. But that's not the point. The point is, this is a big guy. When he corners a woman, he has a massive, not just a power differential, but an actual strength differential. Which brings me to this other piece of Lauren Sivan. She used to be a Fox news host, very beautiful woman. This story got me because, first of all, she's obviously like just a perfectly reasonable human being. And she was talking to Harvey Weinstein. And again, Harvey Weinstein, you know, Meryl Streep called him God, and that was not far off if you were in the Hollywood or entertainment business. So she's talking to him at a dinner, and she's flattered by his attention, and he's flattering her about how knowledgeable she is and how intelligent she is. And he says he wants to show her something, and he takes her downstairs, lures her, there's no other word, he lures her downstairs into the basement of this place, and suddenly she realizes that she's alone with him in this basement, and he blocks her path. I mean, remember, again, a big man. Listen to this.
He cornered me in this vestibule and leaned in and tried to kiss me, which I immediately rebuffed and said, whoa. I had no idea that that's what this was. I'm sorry, you know, I have a very serious boyfriend and I'm not interested. And I thought it would end there. Mm-hmm. But that's when he blocked the entrance or exit for me and said, well, then just stand there and be quiet. And that's when I realized, oh.
Did you know what was about to happen?
No idea. Completely shocked. And yet, what is going to happen? Like, stand up and stand there and be quiet. I had no idea what was going to happen, and it happened very quickly, and he immediately exposed himself and, you know, began pleasuring himself, and I just stood there.
I mean, you almost have some sort of pity for this guy, like he's mentally ill, because you could hear it in that other tape with the model, the compulsion, you know, that he couldn't let her go. You know, what you'd think that at some point you say, like, you know what, this is not working out for me. You know, this woman is saying, no, you let her go. But he couldn't, and he blocks her off. And what was really touching in this video is Lauren Sivan says that this is the moment when she suddenly realized that everything he had been saying to her was about this. Everything he'd been saying to her was about this, right? It was not like she was talented. It was not that she was knowledgeable. It was not that she was doing a good job. It was all about this. And there's something about that. I can really feel that. I can feel that, you know, you're talking to this guy and he's a powerful guy and an important guy, and you're in the entertainment business to some degree, you know, and he's flattering you, and suddenly you realize it's just because he wants to stand in front of you and handle himself while you watch. I mean, and that's, I just find that an incredible, you know, must feel incredibly degrading, but also just threatening. Stand there, and he's blocking her way. And you can see, you know, she's girl size, you know, she's woman size, and he's blocking her way. So this is what made the comments of Donna Karan, the designer to the stars and designers to the left, you know, when you hear it, kind of upsetting, because she says, you know, maybe we women are asking for it.
how do we display ourselves? How do we present ourselves as women? What are we asking? Are we asking for it? You know, by presenting all the sensuality and all the sexuality? You know, and what are we throwing out to our children today? You know, about
that's a huge question, though.
how to dance and, you know, how to perform and what to wear. You know, how much do they show?
Yes. I mean,
I don't think it's only Harvey Weinstein.
Well, it's certainly not only Harvey Weinstein, but you know, these comments really interested me because I have some sympathy with them. Not in context, not in the context of Harvey Weinstein, because Harvey Weinstein, what he was doing was monstrous. You know, I mean, that's not too strong a word to take people's rights and physically abuse them like that, and physically suck real people into your crummy little sexual fantasy life. You know, that is monstrous. That's a monstrous thing to do. So I have no sympathy with that. But what Donna Karen is saying, you know, has a certain amount of truth to it. It's just, this is not the time. This is not the point. You know, I mean, it's true that we should all kind of tend to be a little bit more modest. I think we should probably dampen down the sexual frisson this society puts out constantly. But that's not the point. That is not the point. We're all living in the same society, and we don't all do this. It is these powerful guys. And look, it's not about the left. Just we relish this a little bit because it's about the left. It's not Bill O'Reilly. It's not Roger Ailes. But of course, it's about powerful guys abusing their power. But the point about the left is what this says, because this goes back to the opening of the show where I was talking about, are these little feuds? Is this just reality TV, or is it a civil war in the GOP? But this Harvey Weinstein story is also about the civil war that's happening on the Democrat side, okay? Because when Jimmy Kimmel says, oh, we made jokes about Bill Cosby, that's disingenuous. Bill Cosby operated assuming that he was guilty, assuming he was doing these things. And I've talked to people who I believe who say he was and did it to them. You know, Bill Cosby operated like that for decades and decades and decades. And it was only when he started to kind of decline as a star that then people started to take these complaints seriously. And as for Bill Clinton, the left almost uniformly defended him. I mean, this is Maureen Dowd at the New York Times, is the only person whose hands are clean on the left, because she actually did go after him. But this is indicative of something. Lee Smith in the Weekly Standard, the fact that they're going after Harvey Weinstein now, the fact that this major political donor to the left and also organizer of donors, a fundraiser for the left, the fact that he's going down now. Lee Smith at the Weekly Standard wrote this piece saying what this indicates is that the court over which Bill Clinton once presided, a court in which Weinstein was one part jester, one part exchequer, the banker, and one part executioner, that court no longer exists. Play this thought experiment, Lee Smith says. Would the Weinstein story have been published if Hillary Clinton had won the presidency? No. And not because he's a big Democratic fundraiser. It's because if the story was published during the course of a Hillary Clinton presidency, it wouldn't have been about Harvey Weinstein. Harvey would have been seen as a proxy for the president's husband, and it would have embarrassed the president, the first female president. You remember when Donald Trump at the debate started to bring this stuff up, everybody gasped like, oh, he's going there. Oh my goodness, is he going to go there? Well, only Donald Trump was rude enough to go there, but anybody should go there. I mean, this is the way the left controls us. The left controls us by making us feel that speaking the simple truth is somehow a violation of, you know, it's sexist or it's racist or whatever. Donald Trump is too much of a bore to be constrained by those things. But of course it was important to bring this up. She covered for this guy who was accused of rape. She covered for him. She ran the anti-bimbo squad, attacking his accusers. So now Lee Smith goes on and says when Bill Clinton was running the party, he offered get-out-of-jail-free cards to a whole army of sleazeballs, from Jeffrey Epstein to Harvey Weinstein to the foreign donors to the Clinton Global Initiative. The deal was simple. Pay up, genuflect, and get on with your existence. It was like a papacy selling indulgences at the same time that everyone knew that the Cardinals were up to no good. The 2016 election demolished Clinton world once and for all, to be replaced by the cult of Obama, an austere sect designated by their tailored hair shirts with Nehru collars. That is not who we are as Americans, they chant, and Harvey Weinstein's ashes are scattered in the wind. In other words, the Democrat Party has been taken over by the far left, and the far left is perfectly happy to watch these old Clinton guys go down the drain. There are civil wars on both sides, and because of the civil war on the left, that's why they can't take advantage as much as they would like to of the civil war on the right.